Devon Conway shone again in Somerset colours as he batted his team to an important 8-wicket T20 Blast victory in Bristol after Lewis Gregory had produced the best figures of his Blast career. Put into bat, Gloucestershire supporters were soon on their feet as Miles Hammond deposited Craig Overton into the stands with 14 runs coming off the opening over. For the other opener, Chris Dent was out in the third over, uppercutting Gregory to Lewis Goldsworthy. Dent gone for 7. A combination of Gregory, Overton and Jack Brooks then bowled well inside the 6 overs of power play, from which Hammond and Benny Howell carried the total to 47 for 1, both sides probably happy with that return. Howell waited for the arrival of Max Waller, who he soon muscled over the mid-wicket boundary. Hammond saw out the first half of the innings, doing his job well. He helped his team to 78 for 1 after 10 overs, he moving on to 44. His innings ended there, as he was bowled by a quick delivery from Marchant de Lange. Rather than let that concern him, Howell hit his second 6 in the same over, not exactly where he wanted to, but at least he got enough bat on his shot. Given his recent outrageous form, the wicket of Glenn Phillips was a big one, and it was left to the Somerset skipper to produce it with a fine delivery which sent the batsman packing with just 4 runs to his name. And Gregory struck again 3 balls later. James Bracey, his confidence gone since his stint with England, top-edging a hoik behind to leave the hosts on 95 for 4 and in some trouble. Jack Taylor was now in and he needed to produce a captain's knock from here. The loss of wickets had certainly dented any thoughts of a huge total. Taylor dominated the strike and used it well enough to make a breezy 28. He then scooped a shot off Brooks to Ben Green, leaving with his side on 135 for 5 with 3 overs to go. Howell had not seen enough of the strike for a man well set. When he did face up to Gregory, he deposited him into the distance to reach a 50 from 40 balls, a knock with only 1 4 but 3 6s. But it was Gregory who had the last laugh as he produced the best figures of his excellent T20 career. He had Howell held by Green next ball and then completed his first ever 5-wicket haul in this format, with Tom Smith somehow finding Ed Byram at third man. Gregory ended with the excellent figures of 5 for 24. It was a fantastic effort from the visiting captain, who would have been delighted that he and his team were able to keep their host down to 161 for 7 from their 20 overs. Gloucestershire needed a good start with the ball, and David Payne provided it by having George Bartlett held by Phillips with his first delivery. But Somerset were soon making very good progress through the numbers. Conway seemed to be enjoying his first taste of a West Country derby. Then again, in recent times, it would appear that he enjoys the taste of almost everything. Backed up well by Will Smead, who pummeled Josh Shaw into the distance, Somerset knocked 52 runs off their target in the power play overs. Smead went big again off Howell as these 2 batsmen had their side in complete control. But in the 10th over, the very promising stand was broken on 78, Smith having Smead leg before for 36, Somerset reaching a score of 86 for 2 halfway through their chase, the target now at 76 from the last 10 overs. With Conway heading to a 3rd successive 50 in what has become his dream summer, this one coming from 40 deliveries with his 9th boundary, the result was becoming a foregone conclusion. The Kiwi once again made batting look all too easy as he looked now to guide his side over the winning line for a crucial victory. He helped reduce the target to 42 for the final 5 overs. There was still some work to be done, and Goldsworthy aided his team by driving Payne down the ground for a 6, 30 now needed from 4. The next over cost just 5 runs as the tension increased. With 15 wanted for the final 2 overs, Conway flicked Payne to the fence, the job nearly done. Just 5 were required from the last over, and Somerset used just 2 balls of it, both being hit to the boundary by Goldsworthy, who ended the match unbeaten on 39. But all the plaudits were for Conway, who for the 2nd time in 3 matches saw his team home, this time with 81 runs to his name. So Somerset took the match by 8 wickets with 4 balls to spare, and they now join Gloucestershire on 12 points from 10 games. There is still all to play for in the remaining 4 matches.